How's it going, everyone? There are two things that got me really interested into comic books at a really young age, like 4 or 5. One of them was my Uncle Roger's EC Comics collection that I got to look at whenever he went to visit. And the other was being a child of the 80s. We had great comic book related shows, like the Incredible Hulk live action, the Spider-Man live action, which isn't so great if you go back and watch it now, the Shazam live action, cartoons like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and Super Friends really got me interested in the Justice League. So I wanted to show some of my more modern Justice League variants, and also show some recommended Justice League readings. I really like them, and always have. So, also being such a high-profile team, you know, much like Marvel's Avengers, they always get a lot of high-profile writers and artists on them. So you end up with a lot of good stories over the years. But anyway, this is the series, I believe, it's from like 06 or 05. Yeah, 06, I believe. But these are all variants. This is the J. Scott Campbell variant to 0. These are all pretty much near mint, unread, straight from shipment into Mylars. This is really an awesome cover. This is the #1 variant by Michael Turner, who again is no longer with us, and he's left behind lots of masterpieces, and he does a good team shot like that of all of them. This one right here is, if you can see, I'll zoom in down here in the bottom, DCComics.com, not for sale, for promotional use only. This is what they call the RRP cover by Ed Benes. You could only get this by attending the Diamond Retailer Summit. I bought it from a local shop that got it there. Didn't get the best deal. I think I paid 50 or 60 bucks on it. It's near mint. I probably should send this in to get graded. What it is, if you turn it, do it now. If you turn it horizontally here, what you get is the composite of the 2 regular covers that Ed Benes did for the series. That's a neat cover. Nice book. This is the #2 variant by an artist I really like, Phil Jimenez, and you don't see enough of him anymore. That's an awesome Red Tornado variant by a talented guy. This here's the #3 variant by the legendary Kurt Swan and Kurt Schaffenberger, I believe, as well. So that's just 2 legends collabing on a cover there. I'm not sure if I think these are 1 in 10s, maybe 1 in 20s or 25s, but they're all the variants, like I said. This one's just a gorgeous cover by J.G. Jones. Trying to zoom in. This Vixen's Pride. Now that's a cover. Here's another one of my favorite artists. This is the variant to #5 by Arthur Adams. He has a almost kind of Americanized Japanese manga style. Definitely influenced by Japanese manga. And that's a pretty sweet Hawkgirl cover. And here's the #6 variant by a guy who I believe is coming to Baltimore Comic Con this year, so maybe I'll get this signed. But not many people draw women like Adam Hughes, and there's a kick-ass Black Canary variant by him. Okay, gonna move these books now. Bear with me a second, please. Okay. I also have some of the new 52 variants as well. Honestly, that's one of the books that I didn't like as much out of the new 52. And I like a lot of Jeff Johns stuff, but this book hasn't been that good, in my opinion. The best thing about it has been the backup story with Shazam by Gary Frank, in my opinion. But anyway, we got some more variants, and this is one of my favorite Michael Turner variants ever. Number 7. Sorry about the glare on that. That's Wonder Woman fighting T-Rexes. And this, I don't really understand this. They sometimes they make the variants not that interesting, and the normal cover is better. And this is one of those cases, even though it's drawn by Phil Jimenez beautifully. Just 3 headshots. Not a very interesting cover. Here's a really pretty one. This is number 9. And again, Phil Jimenez. And look at that. It's got the Alan Scott Green Lantern. A lot of JSA members. Just a sweet cover. He's a good artist. I like him a lot. And again, number 10. Yeah, this is the crossover with the Legion of Superheroes in the JSA. Another Phil Jimenez variant. Got some Legion members. Power Girl, Hawkman. These 2 covers are sweet. Now, I couldn't find the number 11 variant. I do have it somewhere, but don't know where it went. Here's another. This is the number 12 variant. Here's another Michael Turner team cover. That's the variant to that one. Really nice piece. Sad he's gone. And for the new 52, this is, I think, is a 1 in 20 or 25. This is the David Finch variant. Although this is an awesome cover. Haven't liked the stories as much in this as I have a lot of the old Justice League books. Here's the number 2 variant. And this is by a team that I think is an artistic team that I think may be the best currently in the business. You could argue it. And that's Yvonne and Rod Reese and Joe Prado. Actually, no, did Prado do this one with him? No, it doesn't look like it. It's Yvonne and Rod, though. But that's a sweet cover. Just do a lot of team shots on the variants, and here's another one, but this is cool. This is by current Batman artist Greg Capullo, and that's a really sweet one. But yeah, seems like all the variants now are just team poses. So there's that one. And I do have one more. I think I might have number 4. I might have missed it. I don't know. But E-Boss is the artist here. And this is the number 5 variant. Another beautiful cover, but yet again, another team pose. Pretty much all the variants are team poses, but that's okay. Some of them are pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to get into some recommended reading. Some Justice League stories that I recommend. And the first is by another team. It's coming to Baltimore Comic Con this year. This is the New Beginning storyline by Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Kevin Maguire. These are the first 4 issues that you can get to trade. The issues aren't that expensive. I think number 1's like $12-15. I really want, there's a test cover variant for number 3 that they only did in certain markets. It has, instead of DC logo, has a Superman torso and he's busting out of the chains like the classic Neil Adams pose. And there's one of only 2 books. The other was a Fury of Firestorm. I forget the issue number, but they did that test cover on 2 issues, and I'd really like to get the Justice League number 3 one and keep an eye out for that. But it's on the list of many things I want. But these are the first 3 issues and 4 is not there, but number 5 is a good one. That's where Batman finally knocks out Guy Gardner. But the character development in this is really good, and they have Shazam on the team, so it's a good story. I recommend picking that up. Oops, that was close. New Beginnings is what it's called. I couldn't find Identity Crisis, but that's obviously one I would recommend, like a JLA story I would recommend. And this ties in with it. It's JLA 115 through 119. And it's called Crisis of Conscience, and it deals with the fallout of Identity Crisis on the team. Jeff Johns, Alan Heinberg, and Chris Batista, and I believe Rags Morales did these covers. They're beautiful. Batman punching Hawkman. This is a good story, but you got to read Identity Crisis first, in my opinion, because this will spoil some things. This is Zatanna, and this is the cool cover. A League No More. That's 119. But yeah, I recommend that story and an Identity Crisis. Really, two must-reads as far as Justice League goes. Okay, next up, a couple trades that I recommend reading. Good. Sorry, stuff's falling everywhere. Okay. Okay. Some trades I recommend for reading. This is JLA Rock of Ages. I have a good part of this run. Stopped collecting it for a while and picked it back up later. I went over 100 issues. This is the one that started with Grant Morrison and Howard Porter doing Rock of Ages. That's a darn good read. This may be my favorite story of that JLA series, and it's Tower of Babel, and you just must read this. I can't really say too much about it, but other than I will tell you, if you've seen the animated feature DVD, Justice League Doom, this is the story it was based off of, and the story is much better. This is just awesome. David Goyer, Jeff Johns, and Carlos Pacheco, and Carlos Pacheco does his thing on this book. The art's gorgeous. JLA, JSA, Virtue, and Vice, they actually fight in this book. Shazam fans will like this. Has a lot to do with Shazam. This is a great read. I highly recommend these two. Get arguably my highest recommendation of JLA stuff. This is the JLA Greatest Stories Ever Told. You can get this trade pretty cheap. Has a lot of the classic stories, but they focus mostly on the older stuff. This is by Alan Davis and Mark Farmer. The Nail. It's Elseworld's Tale. Sorry, but it's a very good read. They did a follow-up called Another Nail. This is a really good read with great art, and I loved it. I really like this story. Highly underrated Justice League story, in my opinion. Another underrated Justice League story, in my opinion, is called Scary Monsters, and it has Art Adams art and Plastic Man's in it, and it's they fight different types of, it's not another comic villain they're fighting, so. Alright, these are my last recommendations right here. This is JLA Earth 2, the hardcover. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. Sorry about the glare. But you can see there's the reflection of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, top Superwoman, Ultraman, Owlman. And this is a great story. Highly recommend picking this one up. Good read. Probably the best story with the parallel universe, or parallel verse, whatever you want to call it, Injustice Society. This is the slipcase set to Avengers JLA by Kurt Busiek and George Perez. This case, I think Reaper's the cover of 3, but it has every character. The other side's cover too has every character. It's a wraparound that's ever been in JLA or the Avengers. Just cool to look at that and try and see you can name everybody. It's a neat thing. But this has 2 books, the actual story reproduced on higher quality paper and in a bigger book. So it's nice. It's a nice read, and it has all the stuff that the behind the scenes stuff and extras, because they tried to do this story in the 80s and it didn't get done, and George Perez drew it then. So it has some of the panels from that. It's the only place you can read those. So I recommend owning this set if you can. It's an oversized slipcover. But I also wanted to show from that, this is my favorite cover out of that series. This is Avengers vs. JLA number 4. And do you really need to say anything else about that George Perez cover on Superman's 75th anniversary? One of the kick-ass covers of all time. George Perez is coming to Baltimore this year. I'm going to try and get these 2 things signed. I've already got a Crisis number 1 signed by him, but I'm going to try and get a couple of things signed by him, and a Teen Titans number 1 this year. I'm excited to meet him. He's one of my favorites. Sorry. This is the last thing, and this is just more, it's a good story, but it's more for the art. It's Bryan Hitch, who does beautiful art, but takes so long to put his stuff out. But this is oversized, soft cover, Heaven's Ladder, and I recommend just picking it up for the art. It's a good read, but it's more about the art. Mark Waid wrote it. It's a very weird kind of sci-fi story, almost something you'd expect from Warren Ellis, but who's a normal partner of Bryan Hitch. But you don't see much of Hitch anymore because he takes so long to get his work out, but it's gorgeous when he does. So I hope you enjoyed my JLA variants and my recommendations on JLA reading. Take care. Have fun reading.